We were asked to be here today in E1010 of the state capitol for a closed-door hearing, part of the kind of star chamber activities of the Texas Ethics Commission in their efforts to squelch First Amendment rights and freedom of speech. So we showed up today. It's here at 1 o'clock, and the Ethics Commission isn't here. They've chosen to not be here. My attorney, Joe Nixon, from Bernie Maynard and Parsons, Joe, kind of explain, what in the world's going on with these people?
Well, they set this hearing back in the first part of December, so we've had more than several months' notice of the hearing. Last Monday, they sent us a letter, said, we want all these documents from you. If we don't get them by Wednesday, we're going to cancel the hearing.
Now, had they asked for these documents before?
Yeah, they asked for them, and we objected. We filed normal objections 11 months ago.
11 months ago.
So 11 months they didn't do anything, and then they give us, said 2 days notice. 2 days, we've got to have it or we're canceled. My opinion, they were simply just not prepared. They were not prepared to go forward with the hearing.
So
And they made up a reason. They made up they don't need any of the information from it. They don't need what they asked for. This is a legal issue, and the law clearly doesn't support them moving forward with a fine.
okay, but I'm not an attorney. You filed an objection. The Ethics Commission lawyers asked for something. You guys filed an objection on my behalf. Wouldn't it then be up to the commission, the commissioners, the appointed commissioners, to rule on that objection, not the bureaucracy to just cancel a hearing?
Actually, the commissioners wouldn't rule on it unless the issue was brought to them by a motion to compel by the Ethics Commission lawyers, which they never did. So 11 months goes by with these standing objections. They don't do anything. 2 months ago, they noticed a hearing. Last week, they said we have to have these documents right away. We said, no, we're going to stand by our objections. They're valid. Oh, by the way, I sent them a copy of a recent Court of Appeals decision which completely invalidates their position or the position of the complainant in this case, and said, please read this Court of Appeals decision and let's move forward so we can at least dismiss this complaint, because there's no legal basis for it. Instead, the chief investigator of the Ethics Commission canceled the hearing. And when I called him, I said, look, how are you able to cancel this unilaterally? I mean, we got the notices from the commission. Why are you able to cancel the commission's hearing? He just said it's going to be reset to April 15th. Maybe. Well, we haven't got notice of that yet. So, More than a year, there's no legal basis for this complaint. They've had our objections. They've not had a hearing on our objections. And at the next hearing, there's no objection set to be heard otherwise. So they're not going to have any additional information come April 15th.
Now, you are too much of a gentleman to note this, but I'm going to because it offends me as a fellow husband. The Director of Enforcement, there was going to be a hearing months ago, and your wife had some surgery that's necessary, and everyone agreed to postpone the hearing for that. A very clear reason, personal reason, surgeries, doctors, health, all that kind of stuff. Everyone understands that. The Director of Enforcement brought that up and tried to use that against you, didn't he?
He did. It is not really an applicable situation. You have emergency situations. We had an emergency. I asked for it to be postponed for 3 weeks, a month. They agreed, and that's fine. But this is not the same thing as not being prepared. When you're not prepared to move forward, you should say, I'm not prepared. Because that's the answer. When I go to a court, and if I'm not prepared to proceed, the court will rule against my client. And in this case, the Ethics Commission's attorneys weren't prepared to go forward. They should have informed the commission of that, and the commission then should have dismissed the case today. We should have had an order dismissing the case today at this time.
What this indicates to me is that this is just one more in the little quiver of strategies the Ethics Commission has to delay, to hold out, to increase costs. I mean, at the end of the day, you and other attorneys, you guys have to get paid. So this is making the clock ticking. I am very blessed and fortunate that I'm able to and my organization's able to do this, but there are a lot of citizens in trying to exercise their First Amendment rights who couldn't afford to take off a day from work, to drive down to the Capitol and to show up to an empty room. And then be told, well, maybe we'll do it again in April, or maybe we'll do the exact same thing.
Well, the cost associated with trying to petition government has become enormous and prohibitive. In particular, we've got an arcane set of rules. We've got some people who don't recognize the law, that aren't going to apply the law. And you know, it was said very clearly by the Nevada Supreme Court just this week, ties go to free speech.
Well, Joe Nixon, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. More than a year ago, when the Ethics Commission decided to ramp up their war on free speech, the Texas free speech fight, we responded and said nuts. And I think their lack of absence is proof positive just how nutty this whole thing is.